So I'm going to give you an example of switching bias. Okay, so during Asia last night I had marked out this. Okay, these down candles led to the move up, took out these stops here, broke back down below, then pushed up. This is within what? It's within this 4-hour block here. So last night I went long the Aussie dollar, and I said that it came down. I said when it comes to a key level, I'm looking for a stop run, which is this low here, right? Stop run, then break back above. And I had also marked out this high here. So as soon as it broke back above here and started to find support, I went long with a stop loss there. Then I said, if you look back at my Twitter, I said break of this would indicate there's an interest to go higher because it's coming up a key level, and I would consider a break of this as a breaking market structure. So what I did was I waited and I said, okay, if it's going to find support here, then I can add another position and push my stop loss up, okay, below this. So I took the long here, and as soon as I waited, let's see if it establishes support here. As soon as it started to turn here on the 1 minute, I entered long again, and I had my stop loss just under this wick, and my initial position was a break even, so I did another full risk trade here. It pushed up nicely and then started to break down, and it took out this level. When it took out this level, I thought, okay, it's obvious that short term at least this market does not want to go higher. So I went back to the dollar index and I said, okay, where is the dollar index wanting to go? So from the weekend I had marked out here. I said if I'm going to look for shorts on the dollar, I want to see price will reach up into here. So the furthest I want the dollar to go is 50% of the body of the bearish order block. So I'd mark this out here. Okay, so at this point, where was the dollar? Going back to Asia, the dollar was around here. It had come into this is the low of the daily bearish order block, and this is the body, and the furthest I'm willing to let it go is the 50% of it. So come New York open, I'm watching this resistance and it's finding support here. So I'm thinking, okay, what is the Aussie dollar doing? Let me mark out this time as well. So the timing of this is New York open 12 GMT. That's when I look for New York setups. So it's finding support here, and I had this marked out. So I said, okay, because it's finding support, it's obviously wanting to push higher, and the other majors were pushing lower. So what I did was, this is what I tweeted about. If you know which price levels it wants to reach for, once your invalidation levels are broken, you can switch bias. So come 12 GMT here, New York open. I looked at London price action. So this was the low of my invalidation level. So okay, if this breaks, then all ideas are off. So it's pushed up. It's taken out this high here and it's starting to break down. So I thought, okay, we use basic support and resistance. This low here, resistance, support becoming resistance, then it broke down, made a lower low. So I thought to myself, okay, what are the where does price want to reach for? It's obvious that the dollar index had higher objectives, and the Aussie dollar was here. Where is the next stop? It's going to be resting. It's going to be resting low of day. At this point, this was the low of day. Okay, that's objective 1. Then it was what? Friday's low. So you saw me tweet Friday low, which is here. What's also significant about this, it was the thrust move up. So a lot of people that were long here overall, they were going to have their stops resting here. So when I seen this here made a lower high and started to break down, I entered short, and this was target 1. I said, okay, if this is gonna continue further, I want to see this hold below here. So it came down, broke below it, then it pushed back above. So I'm watching this carefully, and then I'm watching this low here. I said, okay, if it was to go above this low here, I'm going to close it. So I'm short here, and then it pushes up, and then it finds resistance, support becomes resistance again, and it breaks lower. This was my end objective. So this came in at 1440, going back to the dollar index. What was this high here? Around 14 GMT. Okay, so as soon as it took out this low here, which was Friday's low, and rejected back above, that's when I closed it here, as you can see. So what did this do? It mitigated my long that I got stopped out on, and the cable trade I took. So when you're long and price isn't obeying what you or doing what you expect, then you gotta consider, obviously it wants to go the other direction. So if it wants to go the other direction, that's not enough. You gotta look for clear objectives. Is the dollar lining up? If yes, okay, what are the clear objectives? We got this low here and this low here. So I was able to mitigate my loss quickly. So as soon as I entered this, I had my stop loss above here, and my objectives were target 1, target 2. So I hope that helped. This is just an example of how I quickly switch bias. When price isn't doing what I expected to, then I say, okay, that's fine, let's switch bias. I'll do more examples of how I switch bias if it gives me the opportunity, and from there you can start gaining a better understanding of it. So I hope this video helped.